Good morning, Pokemon fans, fanatics, fiends, whatever you want to be. You're going to have like a nice little rant here about TCGplayer. So, for any of you that know me, I sell on TCGplayer. I sell on there quite a bit. I have multiple orders per day. Hundreds of orders per month. All cards that are usually anywhere from a penny to 5 cents. Just depends. Lorcana, One Piece, Pokemon, all that good stuff. I sell a lot of my bulk on there. And so, basically, TCG, it's too bad that it's kind of the stable of what card prices should be. And the reason for that is because the stuff can be manipulated so freaking easily. All right? Now, take for instance, every Sunday or Monday I do TCG card price spikes of the week. Well, do you think that's the only cards that spike? No. They can manipulate it. If they put those cards up there, they know those cards are going to sell. For instance, the Blastoise Crystal Guardian they had on there about a month ago, no one knew of this card at all. And now when you look at like Pokemon Top 10 and stuff like that for cards selling that are graded, that card's on there now, okay? It's not just by coincidence. It's not happenstance that these cards get on there. TCG puts them on there. They influence the market. TCG, well, they're big brothers eBay. Now, again, eBay, they told TCGplayer, like, hey, we're going to buy you, but here's the deal. Don't change the thing you're doing, because then people won't know that we own you. So basically, TCGplayer and eBay, since they're together, where else you buying cards online, okay? Now, other people have tried to do this where they're like, hey, I'll make my own card market. It never works. So, this brings us to the great journey of the Mega Gengar EX from Ascended Heroes. And people are like, well, what happened with that? Okay, well, that thing got manipulated fairly bad. We had roughly 3 sales at $230. And you might be thinking like, well, what a fool. Was it Korean? Was it Japanese? Why did it sell for that less? Well, there's no guarantee that that card ever gets shipped. And there's no guarantee the person that bought that card isn't the person that sold the card. There's too many different variables that you can have with TCGplayer to make it seem like it's a legit organization. I want to believe it is. I want to say it is, but I just can't say with, good faith that it really is. Okay? So, why do I say that though? Well, the Gengar, for instance, 3 of them sold for $230. It took it down from a $1,300 card, like $850 card. Now, for people that don't know anything about it, that are new to the hobby, not saying scalpers, but collectors alike, they might be saying like, hey, that thing's, on a discount, or that the bottom's falling out, so I need to sell my card. That's typically the hope, is they get a lot of people that want to fire sell all their cards. And so when they do this, they can pick them back up. A market is super easy to manipulate. Let me show you how, or at least tell you how it's done. Now, the Mega Gengar, there's 16 of them listed. 16 on TCGplayer. They're all listed from about $1,300, and then you get about 5 of them listed around the $3,000, $2,500 mark, and then you have one listed at $10,000. So 16 of them, let's just say they're $3,000 each, okay? That's going to put you at $48,000, okay? That's even buying the $10,000 one because they're doing a law average type deal. So if I spend $50,000, I could take every Gengar for sale right now on TCGplayer, and I could buy those damn things. Now, if I buy those, no one has any listed. I have 16 of them now. So I could list all 16 of them for $4,000. Now, if I do that, you're probably thinking, is there any money to be made? Yeah. I'd be selling my cards for $64,000, therefore making a new high for a card that has been manipulated because it's such a small pop. That's what happens. Now, could I do this with a card that is an extremely high pop? Not as much, because it's not going to sway the market enough. You might sway it, 5-10%, but with a card like this, you can sway the market terribly because there's just not enough of them out there. Now, you might be thinking, well, what about eBay? Well, not everybody wants to shop at eBay. Some people are just TCG hogs. That's what they want to have. That's all they want to buy from. That's all they really want to sell from, okay? They don't deal with eBay, okay? So those 16 cards that are up there, 16 Mega Gengars from Ascended Heroes. Those cards right there, if you were to buy all those out, and that's an extreme one because it's an expensive buy, but take a look at some of those cards that are some WotC era or some earlier era, Pokemon cards. Think about if you bought those out. Okay, maybe they're a card that's $75 to $100, low pop rate on a Gem 10, and let's say you buy out all 50 copies of it. Okay, now if you buy out all 50 copies of that card, essentially you own the market of that card. Now it may seem a little shady, it may seem like, why would someone want to do that? There's no guarantee in it. Well, there is some guarantee. Take any cards, okay? Any cards that are not mass produced. So we're talking anything from, gosh, I'd say XY era going down. Sun and Moon, there's a lot of cards out there. Sword and Shield, a lot of cards out there. But take a card that's not mass produced. Or at least doesn't have an extremely high number out there. But it's not small enough where it's kind of not on the radar. But big enough where people might say like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is being bought out. Now, if you do this with a low pop, which low pop for PSA doesn't mean anything, because to be honest with you, if you have a low pop card, the PSA amount last sold doesn't matter because there's not enough comps. So there's so many different cards out there you could buy and manipulate the market with. It's insane that people think when it happens, it's like out of the ordinary. It's not out of the ordinary. We see these manipulations all the time. So TCGplayer, they have their hand in it a little bit too much, I think. I think they're terrible to have for a standard. I like price charting, and I know like if you ever go on Marketplace or talk to someone and they're like, they want this for a card, and you're like, well, on price charting, this is what it's for. Price charting takes the law of averages of what the sales have been on, PSA or eBay typically. And you can find them with PSA, Beckett, SGC, CGC, whatever it may be. You can find all the different ones on there. But price charting can lag behind a little bit. eBay last sold is the standard, guys. You have to go to eBay last sold when you're looking for comps. Now, where that doesn't work is when you go to shows, because everybody wants to price off TCGplayer. Now, it's good to have a standard in an industry, but the problem is TCGplayer is not trustworthy. It's not trustworthy in the aspect that these things can be manipulated so bad. And so the Gengar, for instance, those 3 sold for $230. Who's to say that PSA allegedly bought those, or eBay allegedly bought those from their own company? They could do that to bring the price down. Now, why do I think PSA would be a good one to buy these cards and manipulate the market? How they can make a ton of money by doing this? Well, let's go, for instance, they're a $1 billion company. If they bought all 16 of those Mega Gengars listed on TCGplayer right now, they would control the market. They would be able to grade those cards themselves then. And guess what? Their grading standards are their grading standards. They can do whatever they want. So then they can actually totally control the market. It's not that hard to do. And if you don't think that there's a chance that PSA would do that, or eBay would do that, or someone else would do that, I'm telling you, there's a high probability that you're probably wrong. That's like saying I trust the government 100% of the time. It just doesn't happen. And as long as Pokemon cards are not regulated, not serialized numbers, or anything that shows the indication what they have, we don't know how many of these there are out there. Now, what I would suggest, okay, for this to be regulated is you'd have to have, so like jewelry, for instance, diamonds, they have all a serial number on them, okay? It's a serial number, it's embossed, or it's etched in the diamond. You have to look through a microscope to find it. It'd be nice if Pokemon cards actually did have a serialized, like just a social security number or something on the specialty cards. So it doesn't tell you the pop report on them. It just shows you that, yes, this card is that serial number, okay? Then you couldn't have all these scandals with PSA and stuff, with cards being swapped or whatever it may be. I think it'd be a great way to go about it, but they'll never do it unless it gets regulated. If the government has to step in and regulate this stuff, that'll happen, but it will never happen, okay? Now, TCGplayer, they fully know this, okay? And odds are if you're buying a card off TCGplayer Raw, a high dollar card, most likely it's not going to PSA 10, because the person putting it on there without pictures, my Lord, if you're buying a multi-$100 card, let alone $1,000 card on TCGplayer without pictures, that's crazy. You might as well just like be swiping right on Tinder, or left, I don't know which one it is, to a person that has no profile picture. Like, that's crazy. So bottom line, TCGplayer, they can manipulate the market. It's too bad that that's the standard that we have to use with TCGplayer, and that's because we've set the standard ourselves. It's too bad that's the way it is. But at card shows, everybody's like, well, last TCGplayer sale, or this is what sells for on TCGplayer. Guess what, though? Those cards don't have pictures. We don't know what the hell those cards look like. And it only takes one person to put a Korean, Japanese, or Chinese card on there to manipulate the price on there, because they don't regulate them out between Korean, Japanese, Chinese, and English versions of a card. So when they do that, it can bring this price spike down. And then you got a whole thing where people are like, this is what it says the average sale price is. Well, that doesn't always mean everything. So I don't know. It's just I've been thinking about it like all night. That TCGplayer, for low-end cards, I think it's a great place to sell. For high-end cards with low pops, I think those things can super easily get manipulated. But let me know what you guys think. All right, like and subscribe, leave a comment below. Thanks a bunch for watching. If you're here, it's 10 minutes into this rant. I'm getting ready to start my day mowing some lawns, but I appreciate y'all. Thanks a bunch, and remember, catch them all.